Hello, everybody. Good morning. Happy Saturday. A lot of college football today, but we got to talk about the main event tomorrow in the afternoon. The Cleveland Browns coming into Seattle to take on the Seahawks at 1:05 p.m. Throwback jerseys, a team we don't play all that often, a team that doesn't play conventional modern football. It's going to be a hoot. It's going to be a party. It's going to be a lot of fun, and both teams need this game. Both teams really need this win. If you're a Seahawk, you need it because your upcoming schedule gets really, really brutal. And honestly, the Browns are one of the weaker teams left on your schedule. Now, that speaks to how good your schedule is because the Browns are not a weak team. And if you're the Browns, then you need the win because you're in probably the toughest division in football. And every team is in it. So if you fall behind, there's really no chance of catching up because you're not just chasing one team, you're chasing all three. So both teams need this win. And bottom line is, my expectation, whatever I may say for the next 15, 20 minutes in this video, my expectation is going to be that this team goes out there tomorrow afternoon at home against a team with significant injury losses and takes care of business. So let it be understood that this game is, I mean, like most NFL games are, something of a litmus test. How real are you? If this Seahawks team is actually serious about contending for the division and contending for a deep playoff run and maybe even contending for the playoffs at all, you got to take care of business in this one. You're getting a backup quarterback with a third string and fourth string running back. You gotta win that game. You're getting one of the worst quarterbacks in the NFL on the road. Everything is set up for you to take care of business tomorrow afternoon. And if you don't, obviously nothing's over, but you are staring down the barrel of this brutal schedule that could rough you up without you even being a bad team. You don't have to do anything wrong to lose a lot of games on this remaining schedule. So get it done now while the opportunity is presenting itself. You won't find very many opportunities better than facing PJ Walker on the road without his top two backs. So that's how I'm looking at this one. Bottom line, obviously the Browns are a good team. I'm going to say some nice things about them in this video, but whatever issues the Seahawks may have right now, missing the right side of their offensive line, missing a guy like a Kenny McIntosh, none of it compares. It's not even on the same plane as what the Browns are dealing with their losses. So, this game and why I feel like this team should win and why I expect them to win and why I'll be extremely concerned if they don't win is the Cleveland Browns offense. It's pretty simple, right? I know last week threw us off a little bit, but last week probably shouldn't throw us off that much, right? Because this season, the Cleveland Browns have established themselves as the best defense in the NFL, like this dominant defense that we almost never see these days. There was a point in time, I don't know what it is now, but I think before that Colts game, that Browns defense was holding opposing teams to an average of 120 passing yards. And I know that was inflated by a couple of games they played against really bad quarterbacks, but you don't see that in the modern NFL pretty much ever. And it's not like they were getting blown out in all those games and other teams were just able to run the ball 60 times. No, they were close competitive games and the Browns won some of those games, and yet you still can't pass on them. So that seemed to be their identity. And then we had that Colts game last week where they threw up 39 points and allowed 38, and everything got turned on its head. And it gave us something to think about. But at the end of the day, even that game was driven in part by the defense and Myles Garrett in particular. So you look at the way the Browns offense played in that game, it really wasn't radically different from the other games they played. PJ Walker played pretty bad. Jerome Ford had one big carry and then he went nowhere the whole rest of the game. So that game was very weird. It was very atypical of the way the Browns play, but honestly, if you really dig into it, I still think you see the same things. You see a team with a really bad quarterback. PJ Walker, when he misses, he misses. He misses by 10 yards sometimes. He throws the ball and it goes in a direction where You could have sworn he was trying to hit the equipment manager. You could have sworn he was trying to throw it to a fan in row C. It's bad. PFF has him ranked as the worst quarterback in the league so far. You watch him play, it's just a miserable, miserable experience most of the time. He doesn't even really use his legs that well. His career high, I actually looked this up because I couldn't believe it. His career high in rushing yards in a game is 20. So it's not like he's going to do some Malik Willis or Michael Vick type stuff to make up for his lackluster passing. No, he's just a bad quarterback. About the best I can say about him is he has a big arm because he hit that Hail Mary, what was it, last year? I think it was last year, against the Falcons when he was a Panther. But other than just having the big arm, there's nothing here as far as quarterbacking goes that is good. He can use his legs to buy time a little bit, I guess. He can maneuver around in the pocket and evade sacks, but then he just two hops it to his receiver or throws it 15 yards out of bounds or throws it right to a defender. So, bottom line is, you're playing PJ Walker in Seattle. That has to spell a win regardless of anything else because he can't lean on his running game this time. They don't have Nick Chubb. They don't have, I don't think they're going to have Jerome Ford. And if they do, it's going to be a crippled version of Jerome Ford. So realistically, you're getting Kareem Hunt, who was signed a few weeks ago off the couch. And you're getting maybe Pierre Strong Jr., who hasn't really done anything in the NFL yet. So you are getting the nub of the eraser from these Browns at running back as well. So they can't lean on that to protect their bad quarterback. No, they just got a bad quarterback with no running backs, and they're going to try to survive. And they have. They've won some games against pretty decent teams this year with that formula, but you have to find a way to flip the script because, look, PJ Walker, with his accuracy problems, I'm expecting multiple turnovers in this game. I know Uchenna Nwosu being out is a blow, and I know Uchenna Nwosu was probably going to be a key part of the formula to stifle that Browns offense, like he is for every game that we play, but I look at this game and I go, you know what? If Tariq Woolen gets beat by 6 yards, he's probably going to be in perfect position to catch the pass, because PJ Walker will miss his man by that much. If Jamal Adams gets beat by 8 yards, he's still probably going to be in place for an interception, because that's how inaccurate PJ Walker can be. So I'm expecting multiple turnovers. I'm expecting maybe even a defensive touchdown. This is the kind of game where things like that should happen. You have a really bad quarterback, not a great slew of playmakers around him, and not much of a running game for him to hide behind. That should equal turnovers. And PJ Walker has been skating by so far, largely because teams are not taking advantage of the opportunities he gives them. You look back at that Niners game, he threw a couple picks. There were other picks he threw that just got dropped. So if you capitalize on the interception opportunities you get that you know he's going to give you, I think this one's going to turn out just fine. And I can't imagine that Browns offense really doing all that much against this Seahawks defense the way it's been playing lately. Amari Cooper's a good receiver, but other than that, they're a little bit thin. Elijah Moore has not been good for them at all. Excuse me. Donovan Peoples-Jones has been kind of, I don't know, not as good as he used to be. David Njoku's just okay. It's not a great offense. They do have a really nice offensive line, although it's not as good as it usually is because they don't have Jack Conklin right now. And Jedrick Wills is not really playing that well, and he's maybe not even playing in this game at all. But that interior is tough with Posick, with Bitonio, and with Wyatt Teller. It's a really good interior of an offensive line, one of the best in the entire league. So they got that going for them. But there really shouldn't be that much here that it works in service of. They're going to block really well, and PJ Walker's going to chuck it at the sideline and miss his guy by 4 yards. They're going to block really well for a third string running back that can't take full advantage. Kind of what we saw last week. Jerome Ford, I think he had a 70-yard run, and then the rest of the game he averaged less than half a yard a carry. So, boom or bust. That's kind of what I'm expecting from this game. I'm expecting the defense to dominate. I'm expecting this defense to maybe win the game on their own. And as long as they deliver on their opportunities to take the ball away, The only way we can lose would be if we match their turnovers with our own turnovers, and that gets us to this Seahawks offense, which just don't give it away. That's what I can say about this one. And I know everyone's itching for DK Metcalf to have some monster game, or they're itching for Geno Smith to have a monster game to silence the haters and get everybody to calm down. That's probably not happening this week. This Browns defense is special. You don't see defenses like this anymore. This is like the difference between them and the next best defense is a it's a canyon. So I don't see anybody having a huge game on this Browns defense, period. They've proven they can overcome bad offensive play to keep grinding. They've proven that they can get put back onto the field over and over and over again in bad situations and overcome it. And they've done it against some quality offenses as well. Not the best offenses in the league, but look what they did to the Niners offense. And Niners offense had some injuries. I understand that, but you hold down the Kyle Shanahan offense the way they did, you're going to get some credit from me. So that defense, I have nothing but respect for it. That front with Myles Garrett, they've got Smith, Zadarius Smith, they've got Dalvin Tomlinson. It's a front that is going to give you massive problems, and we've still got Jay Curhan out there, so I'm fully prepared for a little bit of a mess on the right side of the offensive line. I'm just kind of buckled up for it. JOK has been a really great linebacker for them. He's been worthy of that pick they used on him back a couple years ago. They got a secondary with two shutdown corners in Ward and Newsome. And it's such a brilliantly put together defense. So, yeah, I'm going into this game thinking to myself, I'm just trying to protect the ball and not turn it over. I'm not expecting Geno to throw for 400 yards. I'm not expecting Metcalf to have 200 yards. I'm expecting a slow, tough game with a lot of punts. And as long as we don't turn it over, I think we will win, or we can limit the turnovers. I think we win. But I'm not sitting here expecting much more than just a couple of successful drives, maybe a couple drives where the defense sets you up for an easy score. Probably some red zone struggles again, if we're being honest, because I don't think that Browns defense is going to be the defense that our red zone offense suddenly figures it out against. And I'm going to be okay with that. I'm going to respect and understand that this team is going to have a hard time fighting their way through against a unit that is this good. They have really good players at every level. Even a guy like Delpit, who's kind of an afterthought on this defense, has been good for them at safety. So you break it down all the way through, it's just really hard to find that area that you think, okay, we should be able to attack that. Like maybe you'd say, well, we should be able to run the ball. Our right side of the offensive line being what it is, I don't know. Can we just put Will Dissly next to Jay Curhan on every single play and have him double team on Garrett? Is Charles Cross going to be able to handle Zadarius Smith one-on-one? You can't double team both guys. What if they flip places every now and then? Are you going to double team Myles Garrett with Cross and then you have Curhan one-on-one against Zadarius Smith? Like, they're going to put you in some really tough situations in this game. And there are going to be plays where Cross is going to be put in that situation where he has to guard or block Garrett one-on-one. Or Curhan's going to have to block Zadarius Smith one-on-one, and it's probably not going to go that well for us. So this is going to be one of those games, and I know people are losing their patience with the offense a little bit, but bottom line is we're going to just have to get ready for the grind on this one offensively. And I think they can do it. I think they'll be all right. I think they'll break through a couple of times. Maybe they can bust a big play. And I think they can do enough to win this game because I do believe in our defense. But I am ready for the struggle. I am ready for the one-score game that comes down to the last couple minutes that has some drama and ends up making us all just a little bit, have a little bit of a shorter lifespan. But it is what it is. This is not the game for this offense to be just snapping out of it. Sad to say. I am happy that we've gotten a lot of players back. You know, Metcalf is back. Charbonnet is back. We have Walker. Cross has probably worked his way up to basically full speed. But I'm also ready for the Cleveland to win a lot of their battles. With that being said, I'd go something like 17-9. I think we got two good drives on offense, and I think that we're going to have one drive where we score because the defense sets us up for an easy one. I don't know if maybe the defense just flat out scores or not, but it will be a defensive driven score. And then our defense gives up a few field goals. I'm going to say they keep Cleveland out of the end zone. I think that this is an offense that they should be able to keep out of the end zone. And to me, it all comes down to, can we avoid the turnovers? Can we avoid giving Cleveland easy points? And when we get points, when we are in the position to get points, don't give it away. Kick the field goal. It's fine. We can win this game with field goals if we have to. We should be able to. And if not, that's on the defense. But don't give away points. Don't push it into the end zone just because you're feeling anxious to do so because people are getting on you about some of the red zone problems. Just understand that you're playing probably the best defense in the league by far. I don't even think it's close. And they're going to take away a lot of your stuff. They're going to be able to have guys like Metcalf and Lockett one-on-one and take care of them because Ward and Newsome have been that good. They're going to be able to send blitzes and not worry about destroying themselves on the back end because their back end has been that good. They're going to be able to rush four guys and feel comfortable that they can still get pressure because Myles Garrett might be the best defensive player in the league. So understand that it's not going to be, this is not a front runner situation where we're sitting there expecting 35 points every game. Right now, we have to sit there and just get behind our boys as they push, as they just try to grind out enough points to win. And I think they will. I think that Geno can keep it clean. I'm sure the fact that he's become a little bit turnover prone these last couple games is in his head. He's aware of it, and he's going to do whatever it takes to make sure that that's not what people are talking about on Monday. But it has to happen. And that's the one way we can lose this game. And that's something that is, I mean, I'm not going to be able to stop it. Nobody's going to be able to stop it. If Geno has turnovers in this game and we lose, because I really feel like that's the only way we can lose this game, then he's going to hear about it all week. And at a certain point, there's not going to be much I can say about it. I can live with Geno not having great games right now. I understand the circumstances are such that he's not going to have a lot of great games, but I need you to have a clean game. I need you to have a clean game this week because clean equals a W, I'd say 90% of the time when you're playing the Cleveland Browns. So that's really all I got to say. Special teams, I think we have a better special teams unit, but I don't think it's going to flip the game. And let's get it done tomorrow. See you guys later. Go Hawks.